couldn't talk peace with me. They tried, and I was like, nigga, this schoolyard.
It's your boy Crypto Blood, and I want to introduce you guys to a new exchange, Bityard. They do cryptocurrency contracts. If you're like me, an active trader, you're probably sick of the market manipulations, forced liquidations, accurate Bitcoin reference rates over at Bityard with K-line weighted averages, no VPN hassle, available for U.S. citizens, and fully regulated in Singapore, Australia, Estonia, and the U.S. Profit losses are all in USD as well, and no fees with U.S. withdrawals. And most importantly, you can do deposits with fiat, unlike BitMEX. You can't do that, right? So check out bityard.com. I'll leave a link in the description below. Yeah, it's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another episode of my Two Satoshis. It is July 21st, 2020. Shout out to Tech Geek, one of my YouTube members out there, for the song request. Tory Lanez, broke in a minute. Well, he may be broke in a couple of minutes because if you guys don't know, Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion, shot her twice in the legs. What is going on in 2020? I tell you, boy. Hope everyone's doing well today, and welcome to another episode. Today we are going to look at this breakout in Bitcoin. I told you guys the other day that we had to get above this trend line, and we did break above it. So now what happens, I'll tell you my analysis on it here in a second. And I've got some predictions from a couple of analysts out there on Twitter. One believes this is a head fake, and the other believes it may head higher. I'll give you my two Satoshis on it as well. And secondly, the 32 ETH Club. Yes, 500 addresses have joined the 32 ETH Club. Are you one of them? You should be. I'm a big critic of Ethereum. Not because of its new platform going from proof of work to proof of stake. I think that was an awesome move, but my criticisms have been on the timing and how quickly they can execute on this. But I'm going to tell you, you need to have that 32 ETH. It's going to pay off in the future, I believe. So we're going to take a look at this out of Trust Nodes. And lastly, Ethereum 2.0 finally launching in about 2 weeks. What did I tell you? I told you the other day, Ethereum was not going to launch Monday, this past Monday. 2 weeks, that sounds about right. But yes, it is going to launch in a couple of weeks, it looks like. And the Genesis block, they're saying, could launch as early as November 4th. We'll see about that. All three articles coming up on this episode of my Two Satoshis. But before we start, if you guys find these types of videos informative, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell to receive more videos like this. Now, so I'm going to do a video coming up shortly on Bityard. Yes, they're one of my sponsors. I use them on a regular basis for their contracts, their cryptocurrency contracts. I'm going to do an updated video. They have a new interface that I want to show you guys. This is the home screen, but they are doing their thing over there. You guys should definitely check them out. They are licensed in the United States as well. So I just wanted to drop that bug in your ear. But let's take a look at the heat map. Today we are up 2% in Bitcoin to 9,374 bucks. Ethereum is up 3.8% to 245 bucks. Neo is up pretty big today. Tezos is up heavily today. We got EOS up, trading at $2.61. Litecoin at $43.60. A decent amount of the tokens are in the green today, and the ones you see aren't, maybe you should be loading up because those will be the next ones to make a move. With the exception, I think, of Chainlink and that Compound token. I don't think those are going to see the light of day when it comes to bull run, simply because Chainlink really got overbought. So it's still selling off. I think it's a healthy sell-off there. And then Compound, there's a lot of scandals about that whole situation, how many market participants were actually pushing that price of the token up artificially. So other than that, we are looking good in the markets. We broke some critical levels, and I circled this here for my YouTube Telegram members earlier this morning and told them this was a critical area that we broke through, and this is very good news. So at this point, you know, we may test the backside of this. I highly doubt it, but I think the next target is right here, and that will be at the 9,800 area. So that will be, in my opinion, the telltale sign on whether or not we're going to actually break out of this and head higher. And if I zoom out to the daily, you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. I think we may see some resistance at 9,800. I'm just going to be honest with you. So either take some profits there, or if you got some balls, you can go ahead and short at that level. I'm not too sure we're going to break right out from here. We may, but I think we may take one stab lower before then breaking out. Just my opinion, just my two cents. So let's take a look at what these analysts are saying out of News BTC about this Bitcoin head fake. He says 40% rally, warns of a Bitcoin head fake. Goes on to say that the price this morning broke through short-term downtrend lines, making up the top of the symmetrical triangle pattern. The current unconfirmed breakout also caused the first lift in the Bollinger Band squeeze, resulting from dwindling volatility. This lift is normally a sign of the Bollinger Band expanding and an explosive move beginning. However, technical indicators creator and financial analyst John Bollinger is warning of a potential head fake in Bitcoin USD. The last time the analyst made such a call, a historic record-setting 40% pump followed. So a close outside the bands often leads to a reversal. These bands also widen and contract depending on the asset's volatility. When the bands contract, it's called a squeeze. When the squeeze finally ends, like a coiled up snake, it's ready for an attack and explosive moves happen. So today's move in Bitcoin not only pushed the cryptocurrency through the middle moving average, but it also touched the top band, causing it to lift. However, it's not uncommon for any pushes to one band to result in the rubber band like effect of sending the price rocketing in the opposite direction. And so this is what John Bollinger is warning of, guys. So as you can see from this chart, he's saying because the cloud tightened up there prior to this move up and we broke through the pennant there, we're going to push up against this cloud, the upper bound area, and actually turn the opposite way. He says, okay, there is the first lift in the BB squeeze. Now we need to see follow through or we'll be set up for a real head fake. So that's what John Bollinger is saying about this from a technical standpoint. And so the next article that is also out of News BTC is talking about Bitcoin continuing its correlation with traditional markets for the time being. With promising vaccine trials and an imminent round of fresh government stimulus, this could bode incredibly well for the benchmark digital asset. And one positive factor to consider in the near term is that this latest breakout allowed Bitcoin to rally past the upper boundary of the multi-month descending triangle that it was previously caught within. And that's what I was thinking about. This is kind of the same setup that I have, though I don't have the bottom area of this triangle. If I go back into the 1 hour, you'll see I don't have the bottom part of that triangle. I can draw that now. It didn't really matter. I just knew if we broke above this area here, that would trigger some price action to the upside. So again, in the short term, I personally think we're still going to head to that outer long-term triangle or pennant downtrend. Okay, and that is around 9,800 at this particular point. Now, the longer it takes to make that move, the lower that target goes for us in the future. The article goes on to talk about how Bitcoin's correlation with the stock market may be its next uptrend. And that's another thing that I'm kind of banking on, guys. I'm not going to fight the Feds. I believe the Feds are going to prop this market up at any cost by any means. So with that being said, if Bitcoin and the crypto markets are going to have a positive correlation with equities, why wouldn't Bitcoin go up with equities if they're going to continue to push and pump money into the equity markets? It just makes sense to me. And that's yet one more fundamental reason why I think we're heading higher, at least to that outer trend line that I just talked about. So we'll have to see what happens long term. In my opinion, I see us heading a little bit lower in the short term before heading back higher, as you can see with this yellow line here. But we'll see what happens. I'm positioned for a long move out of this pennant, and it should be a violent one, taking us near 15,000, to be honest with you. And it can happen fast, so you better be prepared. Let's take a look at this stat about 500 addresses now joining the 32 ETH club. So if you guys don't know about 32 ETH and what that means, well, it has something to do with proof of stake, which is where Ethereum is moving to from its proof of work consensus algorithm. So unlike proof of work mining, there is no financial difference between solo staking and custody staking, as rewards are distributed to all stakers rather than who finds the block. So obviously, in regards to convenience, custody staking might be more professional and probably a just one-click thing, with the custodian managing everything for a fee. But there are also risks in that if Coinbase goes offline for whatever reason or misbehaves, then the penalty is proportional to however many stakers are on Coinbase when it went down. While for solo staking, unless it's a client problem or an operating system problem, then it would be just you. Thus, there wouldn't be much of a penalty. In addition, devs will probably launch templates and the like to make solo staking an easy experience, but you'll need to run the node, and therefore you'd probably want a cool Raspberry Pi instead of eating up your laptop's CPU. Thus, many who have this 32 ETH, which currently costs around 8,000, will probably want to play with the new staking environment to get everything ready for the real thing. And so, yes, we do have over 500 addresses that have joined already. My whole thing is I'd rather have it now than, let's say, ETH doesn't roll out until November, and at that point ETH may be $500, $600 a token, $1,000 a token. I don't want to spend $32,000 to have 32 ETH and run a node when I can only pay 8,000 or even less. For me, get that 32 ETH if you can, because it will pay off. It definitely will pay off. So I should make this clear. It's not that there are only 500 addresses. There are about 120,000 addresses. It's just been an increase of 500 since last month. I just want to make that clear. And about 20,000 addresses since last year. So that's an interesting take and observation by Nansen AI. I suggest you get yours. I just look at it as an investment in the future of Ethereum. If it goes right, there's no additional delays, because at this point I don't see any other blockchain ready to take Ethereum's shine, even though there are many, I can count more than 10 that are much better at what Ethereum does, and honestly probably better at what Ethereum 2.0 will do initially. But it's not just about performance, it's about getting devs to develop on your platform, and that's the hard thing. That is definitely the hard thing. So that's how I'm playing Ethereum long on the bullish side. Got my 32 ETH, and I'm just gonna wait it out and see what happens. And finally, we'll talk about the very thing many are acquiring 32 ETH for, and that is Ethereum 2.0. The final testnet launches in just 2 weeks. I told you guys that this was not gonna happen Monday. The final testnet before Ethereum 2.0 is due to launch in 2 weeks. And this was from Danny Ryan, which is the launch organizer, said that the launch would be on August 4th, assuming all conditions are met. Several months of testing are needed before Ethereum 2.0 can launch, with November 4th considered the earliest date. The stage is almost set, it says, for full-scale testnet of Ethereum 2.0, the blockchain platform's much anticipated upgrade. The final public testnet, which will enable Ethereum to scale and grow to accommodate decentralized finance and other myriad of use cases. So Ryan said in a Discord discussion that after discussions with client teams, the next multi-client testnet mainnet config, including min validator numbers, will have a min genesis time of August 4th, likely 1 or 2 p.m. UTC. Ethereum needs to hurry up because the long-awaited upgrade can't come soon enough. Ethereum is getting dangerously close to reaching its technical limits. DeFi is on fire, and the number of transactions on the Ethereum network is drawing close to a new all-time high. Meanwhile, Ethereum's gas fees are hitting the roof and pushing the platform architecture to its breaking point. And again, I want to point you to Blocktivity.info for that information if you really want to see the value of these blockchains. This is what I check on a regular basis, and we got Ethereum at number 8. They've got over 1.1 million operations a day in a 24-hour period, I should say. And yeah, it's nearing capacity. This used to have a meter that showed the capacity limit on each blockchain, but it doesn't have it for this particular beta. They've updated the site, but you can see here it's just at 1.1 million operations a day, versus we got one of my favorites, HBAR, is at 2.8 million operations a day, and of course the big dog EOS at 71 million operations a day, and Telos, another one of my favorite, at 4.2 million operations a day. This is where you guys need to look if you're trying to accumulate for the long run, accumulate some coins, and you know, kind of get an edge over others who only look at coin market cap because they're simpletons. You want to look at something like Blocktivity, where you can find out what the potential for each blockchain really is. This is the ratio between blockchain activity and the market cap. So this will let you know how undervalued a coin is. Bitcoin being the baseline. Here you see 1-to-1. Telos, very, very, very undervalued. Look at that, 139,000 on the potential. EOS 6,000. HBAR 3,000, 3,100. So you can kind of go through here and just kind of check out a couple of these chains. They're adding new ones on a regular basis, so you want to check these out. But again, EOS, the big dog here on the operations per day. So again, we'll see what happens. It's all a gamble at this point, so early in the game. Who knows what's going to happen? That's why you want to spread your eggs out. Don't have them all in one basket. That's all I can say. That's pretty much it though for today, ladies and gents. Hope you enjoyed that. Shout out again to my man, the Tech Geek, one of my YouTube members. And if you want to join the Crypto Blood YouTube family and chat with me one-on-one with all the other members on Telegram, make sure you click the join button and hit that acquaintance level, and you can join me and chat about whatever. We have a blast in there, so make sure you guys come on over. But shout out again to my man, the Tech Geek, for the song request, Tory Lanez, Broke in a Minute. If you found this video informative, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell to receive more videos like this. I'm out of here, people. Holla.